I'm very nervous because this is my first presentation in France, and I'm not sure. I already so I will be speaking in English, and I'm certainly not sure if you can understand me, but just very nice. And this is also my last presentation about Magento, so I'm a little bit sentimental about this. And I have so many things to tell you, and I don't want to forget anything, because I didn't have a chance to witness it. So, discussing tools, Magento Enterprise, blah, 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 blah. When do I start? Maybe you know, earlier this year in Meet Magento, Germany, in Leipzig, I had a presentation about criticizing Magento Enterprise. And I told that Magento Enterprise is not worthy of the money which they ask you to pay. And I was surprised how many people afterwards gave me a positive feedback. However, there were a couple of guys who were not happy and telling me that I'm not objective. And 6 months after this, I tend to agree with them. I think I was wrong. Magento Enterprise is not that bad, it's even worse. And today I will show you and I can prove you that you can make a serious harm to your business or to your clients if you use Magento Enterprise. But before we begin, let me ask you if there is anything in this room who know and have an experience with Magento Enterprise Edition. Should I press your hand or quite a lot? So maybe then you can tell me what are the main benefits of Enterprise. Anyone think what are the benefits of the Enterprise? Customer segment really nice. More? Yeah. Solar, yeah, very good. Yeah, more? Six, yeah. More? Yeah. Someone else? What is the... This is not a picture, this is just, they just fix something. There's no model for this. Okay, this is what they said each time there is something new that they have scalability and performance and anything else? Sorry? CMS hierarchy. Anyone heard about the partial reindexing? What else? Sorry? Yeah. Okay. enterprise feature. Okay. Is there anyone in this room who have an experience with the community edition of Magento? Is there a hand? Okay, can you tell me what are the main problems of the community edition? Yeah. Because of indexing in the cache. So indexing in the cache is actually the FPC and partial indexing, which are the features of the enterprise edition and actually the main problems of the community edition. So we can expect that with those two modules, they fix some problems of the community edition. So what actually is the full-page cache? Full-page cache is just a cache the complete page from doc type to the closing HTML tag and put it into the cache, and then each time the same request goes to the router, they copy the page and throw it to the browser, and it's this extremely fast. And this is a good improvement of what you said in Magento communications. And there is a partial indexing. Partial indexing is an thing. So Magento has a problem with indexing that you have always wrong manual indexing to make your store up to date with what you actually have. With partial indexing, each time the product is saved, anything about the product is changed, they put this product into the special changelog table, and then each minute the Chrome is running partial reindexing. It gets the products from this changelog table which has to be reindexed and reindex them, so your store is always up to date, which is quite important for the enterprise. And they present it as a very serious improvement of Magento. Here, we are coming to the point where we have our first and the main problem of Magento. The thing is, when Magento reindex, when the partial reindex is reindexed in one product, it naturally says that this product is not valid anymore, and all the cache which is connected to this product has to be flushed. This is natural. The thing is that in your Magento installation, you have all your products tied together through their navigation or main menu or attributes. All your products are tied together. And if you flush the cache with one product and say everything which is related to this product should be flushed, you complete category. So if you, for example, if your customer goes to your store and buys a product, the stock is changed, the product is saved, the complete page cache is gone. And this happens here every minute. So Magento is flushing full page cache at every 1 or 2 minutes, depending on how often it has sales. You never did it in so parts. Why don't you find out for yourself? I will show you. So we have the Magento Enterprise, which was shipped just last week. It's 1.0, and I will go and watch all the caches. We can see now see what. So I will now reload the page. You can see it's quite slow because it's not cached and it is generated by PHP and then stored in the cache. And it's still generated. Now cache. But now, yeah, it's cached. And we can also check that now we have something on cache. And then, because we can go to the category, and is also on cache. And it's also on cache. You will be caches. But now it's cache. And this is the cache. And I would like to cache all three windows in this category. Just to save this problem. So now we have a home page cache, category page cache, and three products of this category cache. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and buy this product. The part is quite slow. This is another Magento bar, press, and I will come to this later. And the order is just this seems to be similar. So we can now go and see that the home page is still cached, the category is still cached, and the world is cached. But now the needed process and the partial indexing comes. Just run Magento cron, and Magento cron do the partial indexing. Actually, all the Magento stuff, which is scaled for the cron, but one of them is the partial indexing. And we can wait until it executes it. So now we can go back to the cron. Let's see. Even though the product I just purchased is still installed. It's not even went out of stock. Nothing is changing. Layer navigation nowhere. Product just was purchased. And I can go to the category page, and it's also not cached. Then I purchased this product, I guess. The page is not cached. You know what? This product I can purchase, and this is cached. But this one purchased also, and this is not cached. So this is how Magento cache works. So it kills the cache already in it, and your pages are delivered straight from PHP to every client for every request. So I just discovered this problem when we upgraded one of the project I was working on in February to Magento 1.13, where they introduced the partial reindexing, and I was so shocked, and I was absolutely refusing to believe that this is a Magento problem. I spent 5 months checking every customization done in this store to see that this is not this customization, this is not that module. When I finally found out that this is actually a problem of Magento, the problem of the Magento architecture. Then I spent like 3 months more fighting with Magento support, who said that like you're going crazy, how can it happen? And then after all they acknowledged, and they have this public acknowledgement of Magento, that this is an architectural problem, this can't be solved, and this is something like Magento Enterprise is open. So what I ended up with is I just disabled the partial index in this store, and we immediately saw huge improvement of conversion rates because people started getting the cached pages. But of course, it doesn't prevent the losses of the revenue because now we have a store with pages and products which are not up to date because there is no partial indexing. And people are thinking that their product is stock, go into the product details page, edit into cart, this product is not there, people try another product also not there, but the product which is in stock not displayed because the partial indexing is disabled, so people are leaving the website disappointed. And yeah, so this is, as I said, a problem which can't be resolved with the current architecture of Magento. So, don't think that full page cache is good by itself. Full page cache also has a problem even as it is. Because what they did, if page is served from the full page cache, they disable blocks cache. Let's pretend it makes sense. But the thing is that the full page cache is covering only catalog, CMS pages, and no root page. And the problem is that they forgot to do this check when they block the blocks cache. And they block the blocks cache for all pages. So for example, your cart and the checkout and the rest of the website, you don't have blocks cache anymore. And this was a fix of just one line, just to enable this check. And this is my shopping cart before and after I fixed the problem. This is the time and milliseconds which was required to deliver a shopping cart. So this is another problem. And another problem of full page cache is, you know, these tiny things called inline translation. And you may think that if you enable inline translation in production with IP restriction only for your developer IP, that this will be not visible to anyone. It will be cached. Magento doesn't care. It will show your cached inline translation page to the rest of the world. And the same with profile. Okay. You also mentioned custom segmentation as an important feature of Enterprise. What the customer segmentation does is it creates it's like a customer groups but dynamic. So we can create rules, and based on these rules, Magento will evaluate the current customer and will decide if it fits the current one of the rules, and then we'll apply some actions. The thing is that to check if this customer qualifies for the rule, Magento has to make a query against the complete customer table of your store. Imagine if you have at least 50,000 to 100,000 customers. Each request to each page will query customer database, which will be a significant performance leakage from for your store. And there is another module called cart reminders. It shows it works. It has the same problem as the customer segmentation. So what cart reminders is doing? Cart reminders is you also can specify different rules. For example, I would like all my customers with abandoned cart, which have a cart abandoned for more than 1 day, to get an email like you have an abandoned cart with this product and we would like to give you 10% discount. And Magento by default, checking each 15 minutes if there are any new customers which are qualified for this email and sending this email to them. And the thing is that to understand which customers are qualified for this email, Magento again queries the complete customer database and the quotes database, and the quotes database is huge, even for smaller stores. And this results in a deadlocks of the quote table, which means when some other customers in your store would like to add product to cart, Magento will not be able to create a new quote, and the customer will end at the empty cart page because the product can't be added to cart. And I will say. So this is definitely not a complete list of enterprise problems. This is just what I found out, not from the curiosity, but working with the real customer projects. And this is what we removed, and we were able easily to evaluate the losses which were done by these bugs. And for example, for one of my customers, they lost about 4 to 5 million of euro of revenue only during 6 months because of these problems. So I can surely state that if you're using Magento Enterprise, you're definitely losing money, you're definitely losing revenue because of the problems I just described. And don't think that the Community Edition is flawless. The Community Edition has lots of problems of their own. As we already discussed, that their indexing is a problem for Community Edition, the caching is a problem for Community Edition, then problems with indexing results in inconsistent catalog, problems with caching results in poor performance, Magento Community Edition doesn't scale, then Magento officially acknowledged that collection cache is not working, EAB cache is not working, and they have no plans to fix it in Magento 1. And after all this, they say that they promise 3 years of support after Magento 2 is released. I would say support ended 3 years ago already. And if you ask me if I expect anything to be improved in Magento 2, I'd say no. Because Magento 2 actually has the same architecture, the same cache and the same indexing. I call this like they taught the old dog to do new tricks. But and for example, this partial indexing block I just showed to you, for Magento 2, they decided to put this partial indexing in the Community Edition also. So you got it also in Community Edition. And in fact, this partial indexing was not built as a feature, but as far as I know from my source in Magento, this was a customization from one of the clients of Magento Expert Consulting Group. They built for the client and then they decided to put it into the enterprise. You may ask me, if I don't like Magento that much, why don't I just push off? Well, maybe. And I see that I'm not the only one. Recently I see some developers of Magento communities switching to something else. The problem is that there are no good alternatives. And even more people are thinking and looking for something else to try to switch to somewhere. And since I stopped working with Magento and started doing something else, I understood that another big problem of Magento and Magento community, because of Magento has so huge technical debt, and the community is so self-closed, we all are about 3 years behind the technologies. When I stopped working with Magento, I was able at last to do real unit testing. I learned so many new technologies which people already knew for, I don't know, for ages. I started using traits in PHP. I learned about behavior-driven development, or domain-driven design, or lots of other things. And like, I don't know, PSR standards. Magento 2 will not have them, any of this. So this is another big problem, and the more I work outside of Magento box, more I realize how desperately, hopelessly Magento and Magento 2 is behind of nowadays technologies. And my presentation in Leipzig was aimed to give Magento a little bit of a push. I was still hoping that they can do something and improve something. Today I'm not hoping anymore, and I'm doing this presentation only for you, to tell you my experience and maybe to help you to do the shortcuts on this curve way I made with the Enterprise Edition. And don't think that I never, everything what I just told you, I submitted to Magento as a bug report months ago, but of course they deny everything. They just close their eyes on the facts. And even worse, this bug I showed you is blocks cache banned by FPC. I told about it to one of the Magento managers at one of the recent Magento events, and they told me like, oh, we were aware of this bug for long ago, but we never fixed it because no one aimed. So this is ridiculous. So I think I'm already running out of time and your patience. So I will wrap up my disgusting truths and will leave you some space for questions.